And what do we do on this show? We talk football, ladies and gentlemen. And in every football game, it starts off with what? A coin toss. Yeah, buddy. The coin toss and opening segment of Let's Talk Football. Look, we know Thursday the first game starts, and Sunday all of it goes down into the next week of the Monday games where you have a couple. It is so exciting to see what's happening. But one thing that we know, and Delilah, I'm coming to you first, is there is a number of quarterbacks that either last year or in recent years started somewhere, used to be studs somewhere, maybe has fallen off. And now this year, they are starting at a new place. Look, you know my guy, Carson Wentz. He's bounced around from a couple teams. He was in the Indianapolis last year. He's in with Washington now. Geno is going to get the start over Drew Lock in Seattle. Mitch is going to get the start in Pittsburgh. Anthony's boy, Matt Ryan, is leaving Atlanta for Indy, and Mariota is coming to Atlanta from the Raiders. There's a number of other guys, but Delilah, what are your thoughts on this? And, you know, who are you expecting to kind of settle in first?
I think Matt Ryan will settle in really nicely. Mm-hmm. I think he's set up for success just with that team alone. Like, he's got the running backs, he's got the receivers, they got a decent defense on the other side. So I think that they really, that's the system that when you think about Peyton Manning and, like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying he's as good as Peyton Manning. That's what I mean. I meant that, like, that kind of guy, like, yeah. So, like, I think he's set up for success more so than the rest. Mm-hmm. And so I feel like if he doesn't get W's out of this, that's going to be more on him. But for me, he really is set up for success more than the other quarterbacks, just in terms of experience. And we remember Matty Ice. I know it's been a while, but,
Yeah. League MVP, Offensive Rookie of the Year, NFC Player of the Year. But 1 year, I think he was a passing leader for the league. Took his team to the Super Bowl. So he's got the chops. Out of all of them, he's got the most chops.
Oh, absolutely. And I mean, you know Anthony, you know him most of all, but you also know who is now there in his place. Is Mariota somebody that you're expecting to do great things, or is it just like your expression?
Well, here's the thing. There are some guys that come in the league and they suffer a setback, and then when they get a chance to, or they get a setback when they, like, we're going to use Kate's guy as the example, TB12. He's a 6th round draft pick out of Michigan. People were like, who? Like, when he ran in the game, if you weren't from Michigan and you weren't a draft person, you were like, who? Right. And now he went from being Thomas, Sean Wayne, Patrick David, the 800 Irish names, Brady, to TB12, the GOAT of NFL quarterbacks. Yeah. And then you have guys that suffer setbacks and they don't really ever quite get over them. And that's my thing. Because remember, Marcus Mariota was a starter at Tennessee.
Oregon.
No, I'm talking about in the pros. Yeah. But he was a Heisman. He was the first Heisman Trophy Hawaiian-born Heisman Trophy winner out of Oregon. Yeah. So this guy had all of this going for him, and then he had this setback. And you see that more often than not with the Johnny Manziels and the Ryan Leafs and those guys. So the question is he going to take advantage? Is he going to take full advantage of this opportunity that he's been given, or is he just going to go, well, we're going to suck anyway. I'm just going to do what I can do enough to not get fired and bank my paychecks.
Yeah. And I mean, and that's to be seen. And it remains to be seen. And he is among a number of these quarterbacks that have somebody where if you don't succeed, you got somebody coming right up behind you. And Desmond Ridder in Atlanta. And Delilah, I'm coming to you. Mitch Trubisky, look, we are all glad that he's getting this opportunity. Shout out to North Carolina, my guy, you know what I mean? But we know who Pittsburgh and their fans like. They like that boy from the University of Pittsburgh in Kenny Pickett. How long do you think that's going to work in Pittsburgh? Lila, you got muted. Yeah.
Apologies. Sorry. I honestly, I don't think they'll give him that long, but I do think they'll get more than people think only because Tomlin's different. Like, you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, that's his team, and he's going to make the call. But I do think that he and everybody there's going to feel a lot of pressure to play him, like just by one mistake, not like, you know what I mean? Like I feel like any other quarterback might be forgiven like one or two stumbles, but I don't think Mitch will be given that there. Like they're gonna be like, all right, week 2, boom, like put, like, I just think that's he's not gonna have as much of a chance as he did with the Bears, that's for sure.
Oh yeah. No, he's got a very, very short leash. And look, you saw how the fans reacted when he came in the preseason game. You would have thought this man was Terry Bradshaw with it. You know what I mean? So that is very, very. I'm very interested in seeing kind of how that whole QB controversy comes out. I know Sid is paying attention to that. He's definitely interested in it. I'm going to go take my guy. Got to take Carson. We've known what's happened with him having 11-2 season, and then obviously tearing the ACL. We know he went to Indianapolis, 27 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. Solid year, but everybody remembers the last game of the year where they couldn't get it done against the Jacksonville Jaguars. They had the number 1 pick of the draft. So this is a legacy type of season for him. Either it's going to be what could have been and all that promise, or it's going to be he rejuvenated his career. You know what I mean? Now, obviously, Washington's got we know how the management goes, but we got some spots. We got a guy that my guy Anthony's going to talk about a little later in Jahan Dotson. We got Terry signed up and ready to go. Samuel seems to be healthy. Let's see what Gibson does and, McKissick. And prayers that, Brian Robinson gets back whenever he ends up getting back. But Carson, I'm cautiously optimistic because I want to see what he does. But honestly, at the end of the day, I need him to stay healthy. But it leads me to my next question. Anthony, I'm going to come to you. Carson is one of these quarterbacks where it's kind of like you've been in a couple places and you kind of got this rap about you, maybe not the best locker room guy, maybe not, maybe he's a hero, he plays hero ball, tries to throw and make too many great plays, make too many big plays when he doesn't need to. There's a number of quarterbacks on this list. This might be their last stop. Do you see anybody else? Do you think this is Carson's last stop?
I do. I think this is his last. I think this is his last chance to even prove that he's a serviceable backup. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like if he can't get it done as a starter with all the experience that he has, he may. They may keep him on the roster for now. But who's going to want to, but there's always, you know what? I'm going to walk that back. There's always somebody willing to pick somebody up. You understand what I'm saying? We're not going, we've talked ad nauseum about the situation with the quarterback in Cleveland, the one that won't be playing for most of the season, but somebody was willing to pick him up with all of that baggage.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? So I don't know. I don't think it'll be his last stop, but I think wherever his next stop is, it won't be somewhere he necessarily wants to be.
Well, right. Yeah, I think I think you're right where it might not be his last stop, but this might be the last chance that he has to kind of have somewhat of a say in where he's going.
Right.
Lila, you talked about somebody that, we talked about in Seattle, Geno. I mean, he's been around so many teams, but now he's like, look, I'm making a paycheck. And now he's leading a team that might not look half bad.
No, I think he's gonna come out and do what he does. Right? Exactly. It's just he's gonna come out and do what he does. And I get why he got the start over Locke, I know he's probably like, why'd you bring me over here? But
right.
like what's going on? But I get it. Like his demeanor is just different. He's a veteran, and it's just and I guess what what Carroll saw was he connect more with the guys, right? Because that's what we want. So obviously, like he was making better connections. I think we'll see some really good things out of Seattle. I don't think they'll have obviously just a great season, but I don't think they'll have a losing season or at least a really bad one. You know what I mean? I think there's some games that they can actually pick up. So hey, Good luck to you, Gino. I think you actually have a good shot.
Right. Right. And look, and everybody thinks it's such a dumpster fire out there, and there's nothing going on. And we all know that the team they're playing the first week, Delilah, you're going to cover it. The revenge game against Seattle and their former quarterback against Denver and Russell Wilson. But look, Seattle has pieces. We know what they did in the draft. They picked up a nice little running back from Michigan State, Kenneth Walker III. They have some players on defense, Jamal Adams. You know, they can make some things happen. You know, they might be a little bit of a sleeper team, but you talk about it, Gino, and also in New York, Tyrod Taylor still around somehow. I mean, look, shout out to these guys. At the end of the day, none of us expected them to start. Well, some of these guys,
right? Yeah,
yeah. You know, some of these guys we did not expect to start. But hey,
they're comfortable. They're comfortable where they are though. Yes. Right. So like they'll be backup, they'll be starter. But these other guys we've been talking about, like the Wentzes, you know, like I don't think they'd be comfortable as a backup, you know, but you know, I can't see it. It's almost like a few quarterbacks that we don't talk about now that I don't think they're really liking backup, but they're paying them, so they're gonna chill out there for a year right. and see what happens. It is. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You look at Andy Dalton. You know, we're 3-4 years removed from him and AJ Green tearing up the league, and now he's bounced around as everybody's backup. He was in Dallas. He was with y'all. Now he's in New Orleans. You know what I mean? So.
Yeah, it's possible. So yeah, I could see Wentz falling that way. I could see. I mean, we haven't talked about it, but I could see Baker Mayfield falling that way if he doesn't win. I honestly, if he can't win with the Panthers, I see backup for him too. Yeah, like teams will sign him, but I don't think they'll give him like a starting gig anymore. Right. You know what I mean? So
well, look, if he can't shut his mouth. I mean,
but yeah. So yeah, I think we're gonna see a lot of these guys. If they can't get a winning season, then yeah, we're gonna see them. Like I think I agree with Anthony. Like I feel like teams will sign them, but not as starters anymore.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And they're guys that are still playing. I mean, Brady is an anomaly just to be a starter for so long and be able to perform at or excel where he's been. Like some people will say he's better now than he was 10 years ago. You know what I mean? But that's it. I mean, Geno Smith, I thought when I heard, I was like, he's still in the league. You know, you said Andy Dalton. I was like, he's still in the league. You know, so yeah, some of these guys came in the league and we knew they were going to be backups to begin with, but now they're getting that opportunity. And I have to disagree with you, Delilah, on one thing. I think if Baker doesn't work out with the Panthers, I think people will kind of give him just a skosh of a pass, but this will be his last mulligan. Because remember, they gave him a mulligan for so long because Cleveland was so dysfunctional. And now, you know, the whole way they did this whole thing, well, he's hurt, we're going to get rid of him.
Right.
So he will get maybe a skosh of a mulligan unless he completely stinks up the joint. If he at least plays at or above, right above 500 or better, and it doesn't work out, he'll get one more starting gig somewhere. But again, he won't have his choice of where he's going unless he's balling all the way out, and the rest of the team is just garbage.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And let's be real. Also, is with that, if he has CMC, one of the best running backs in the league. I mean, it's an if, but he's right now scheduled and slated to play. So if he has that, if he has that number one ranked defense that Carolina was at one point last year, now getting all their healthy corners back, and if he can't succeed with that, then you got to sit back and say, all right, Baker, because look, you got to remember, and we're gonna talk about this in a little bit. Baker still runs this. He did it in Oklahoma. He's done it in Cleveland, and now he's leaving Cleveland, talking about Cleveland, doing this and that. When you do this, your leash is just a tad bit shorter. But at the end of the day, you win and you're in.
Yeah, you do all the talking you want to. But Deion said, the only reason people let Deion Sanders talk so much is because Deion was just dominant at his position.
He was the best.
The Falcons as a whole were middle of the road. But Dion backed up everything. He's like, "Oh, you ain't catching nothing today," and he would shut that side down.
Oh yeah,
you know
absolutely.
what I mean. But Baker has been a.
Yeah.
Let's we're not putting him.
We can't compare that. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying that you had to look. If you talk the talk, you got to be able to walk the walk.
Right, you got to back it up.
Yes.
And you keep talking about this. If he does well, we got to wait and see. Because if Wishes was fishes, nobody would be starving. So I'm just saying. What's my phrase? Pad on pad. We'll see come this weekend.
Yes. On that note, my God, thank you very much for that. That was the coin toss. And look, we will definitely see what happens come game time. Like you said, when pad on pad comes. So we got the Thursday games, we got the Sunday games, and obviously the Monday night game. So we will definitely see. Thanks for watching. If you like that clip, be sure to check out the other great content from the Let's Talk Football community. And as always, please like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you'll be notified when more great content like this becomes available.